What's up, y'all? Welcome back to the NLV Pod. I'm your host, Dr. Fairman Toure Jr., and I'm coming at you. We just finished the last episode y'all heard was the 5 things I want players to do when they have an ankle sprain. And this episode, we're just going to look at what rehab might look like and going through stages and each of the stages that I look for to just make sure that you're back and able to get back on the court as soon and as safely as possible. So there's three kind of stages that I look for: beginning, middle, end. And then let's start with in the beginning phases. This is when it's the most painful, it's the most irritable, it's the most limited in terms of what you can do. It's hard to walk, it's limited range of motion, it's increased pain. So early on, it's just about trying to calm things down, get you feeling better, get you feeling confident in being able to one, load through that foot, get your foot feeling for having your foot feel the ground and being able to stabilize on one leg or in different positions just to make sure that you're comfortable. The earlier that you load it, the better it is in terms of you recovering faster, you coming back faster, but also now I got to think about how do I make sure this doesn't happen again? And I got to make sure I expose you to both ends of the spectrum. So if this is a foot, right? If you're watching this on YouTube, if I turn my foot out to the outside, that's where more supination and where our arch is up, the middle of our arch is up. If I turn my hand in, that's more pronation. That'd be more of a mechanism for, you know, eversion ankle sprain. But I want you to be able to feel both extremes, not be too far one way, not be too far another way, but be finding the middle. If you're like before you got the ankle sprain, if you're walking, you're more like this, you're already susceptible to having an increased chance of just spraining it. If just you just land the wrong way, take the wrong step. So I got to make sure that you're able to experience both ends of the spectrum. See what it's like to be on the inside of your foot, see what it's like to be on the back, see what it's like to be on the front, see what it's like to be on the side, but being able to have your foot equally pressing down into the ground is going to be beneficial to decreasing your likelihood. And that's something that I like to harp on really early, making sure that you can feel the ground, feel the contacts being made into the ground. And then we'll work on the range of motion. We'll work on the joint mobility, things that we touched upon last time, just to make sure that you get back to full range of motion, full strength, full mobility, and feeling confident in yourself and your ability to access that range. So that's kind of the early phase. Um, Middle is when you've started the pain has started to go down. You're able to walk a little better. We've been working on how you're walking. You're working on your mechanics, feeling comfortable with it, getting rid of the limp. And then a lot of work on like the hip musculature, the knee musculature, upper body. We're going to be training as you're able to. So if it's a lower body injury and if it's an ankle sprain and you're not able to put a lot of weight through, we're still going to do upper body. Still going to do conditioning as we can, modify things as necessary, just so that when you return back, you don't have to have a ramp up period to then get yourself back in basketball shape. You've already been doing what you need to do during the early phases to maintain the gains that you accumulated over the course of the season and getting yourself into shape. Like you're not losing what you've developed already. That's my main goal, to make sure that when you go back, you're ready to go and you don't have to spend extra time getting yourself into shape. Because I think that's where another area where recoveries take a little longer, just you have to work your way back into shape once you get healthy, right? Like, you're not going to be as effective as you could be, getting if you're not in shape. And so taking the time to make sure in rehab you're getting challenged enough to maintain the qualities that you've already created, whether it's endurance, whether it's upper body strength, whether it's lower body strength as you can. Machines are probably going to be really helpful at this point because we can manipulate where the load is going through and target other tissues, hamstrings, quads, glutes, just making sure that, all the other areas are targeted that need to that are very, very important for basketball players. And then upper body as we need to make sure we're just maintaining general strength qualities. And then in that end stage or getting towards end stage, more faster things, more change of direction, um, just working on making sure that you feel confident in your return coming back to the court. Any move, any movement you need to execute, you feel comfortable getting in and out of it. Um, Obviously, at this point, the swelling is gone down, swelling is gone, range of motion's back. It's just about easing you back into more basketball specific activities. And that's kind of the three-step approach that I take. Even though it's an ankle sprain, we don't just focus on the ankle. There's so many other things that we can focus on that are low-hanging fruit that one will make you feel like an athlete, make you feel like you're doing something and not just using the band around your foot and doing it the alphabet or getting marbles with your foot. There's going to be a lot that is done, but one going to help in the short term, but also in the long term, just making sure helping you get back quicker. So those are the three phases I like to go through when it comes to rehabbing an ankle sprain or any kind of ligamentous sprain. Let's one, figure out how to calm down the area. Two, figure out the qualities that we can train and train those to maintain everything that you've built up so far. And three, let's make sure that when it comes time to return to the court, you feel really good about where you're at and not feeling hesitant at all. Um, and so that's really it. And then for number four, I guess I would say is make sure that I expose you to all a variety of different movements and planes of motion, meaning different like forward and backwards, side to side, rotation, so that when you're on the court, being put in position in a weird position is not going to scare your body. You've been exposed to a lot of different positions, so then your body is ready for any and everything that comes at you. So you're decreasing your injury likelihood right there by being exposed to a variety of different movements, making sure that you have the range of motion in your toes, in your calf, in your muscles, in your ankle, and your hip. You can shift in and out of your hip. You'll have good trunk control. Those are all things that I look for to make sure that you're ready to get back. And I just want to give y'all just an inside look at what that might look like as an athlete going through something that's really, really common. So if there's any questions, if you guys have any concerns or want to know more about how to rehab an ankle sprain, hit me up at Doc Ming or at the Next Level BP, and we'll talk. We can talk and make sure that you're have a good game plan to get you back to the court as soon as possible and as safely as possible. Till then, we'll catch you on the next one. Peace.